Just moments ago, former U.S. President Donald Trump released a statement on social media saying he's been indicted, accused of keeping classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago office after leaving the White House. All right, here's what he had to say on Truth Social, which is the social media site he chooses to use. The corrupt Biden administration has informed my attorneys that I've been indicted seemingly over the boxes hoax. That refers to the documents, classified documents, boxes of them that were found by the FBI at his Mar-a-Lago, Florida residence. He goes on to say that I've been summoned to appear at the federal courthouse in Miami on Tuesday at 3 p.m. I never thought it possible that such a thing could happen to a former president of the United States. Let's go to CTV's Washington bureau chief, Joy Malbon. She joins us now. Joy, there were rumors all day that Donald Trump had been told that he was going, or he was a target of investigation. So it's not a huge surprise tonight that we get this news.
Not a huge surprise. His lawyers were sent a letter saying that Donald Trump was a target of a criminal investigation. And in legal speak, what that means is he could be charged any minute. But it all comes as a surprise because, of course, this has never happened before. There has never been a former president who has been charged by the federal government, by the very government that he once was president of. So it's a stunning turn of events. This all has to do with the classified documents case that Donald Trump is under investigation for, his mishandling of documents. You may remember that last year he gave 15 boxes over to the National Archives saying, look, I didn't know I had this stuff. It's classified stuff. I didn't know I had it. And of course, we've heard him before saying he can just declassify documents just by thinking about it. But the FBI said, look, we think you've got more. They believe that Donald Trump was trying to obstruct their search, so there was a raid back in August. And of course, they found more documents that were marked top secret. On top of that, the latest information has to do with an audio recording that the federal prosecutors have of Donald Trump admitting that he does have classified information about a potential Iran attack. So all of this was evidence that was put before the grand jury. They voted to indict. Now, what we know about the charges is not very much right now because we haven't seen the indictment, but it could be a total of as many as 7 charges that would include obstruction, conspiracy, and retention of keeping classified documents. And so these are very serious charges, but being Donald Trump, he's fundraising off of this. And on his Truth Social, he broke the news himself, of course. And he is, rallying his allies and his supporters behind him, saying, look, this is all a political witch hunt. I told you this was going to happen. And of course, slamming the government, trying to take political advantage of this, because, of course, he now faces 2 indictments, one, a federal charge, which is tonight, and 2, the hush money payments in New York City.
Yeah, well, we should remind people that that was a state case, and that is why this case is very different, because as you mentioned, it is a federal case. Of course, he's running for the Republican nomination throughout all of this. Are people talking about whether or not it'll affect his ability to become the nominee?
Well, certainly in a very crowded Republican field, many of the contenders are saying this should disqualify him. But here's the rub, Morella. Under the Constitution, he could be charged. He could even be convicted of a charge of a criminal indictment and still run for president, because there is nothing in the Constitution to prevent someone from doing that.
Wow. And Donald Trump puts it out there himself tonight. He is indicted, summoned to appear in court. Joy Malbon with the update out of Washington. Joy, thank you.